I salute all my dear colleagues around the world, my franchisee colleagues and our clients. Thank you for coming to the summit. Thank you so much. So, a few days ago, before we came to Orlando, in Florida, we spent 2 days in New York City. Oh my God, this light is so, I don't see anything. I need to go there. So we spent 2 days in the New York City, and after a long walk, I entered the Macy's stores and I asked the security guy, there must be somewhere around the men's restroom. And he said, you see this hall? And I said, yes. You have to go all the way down to the hall, then take the escalators, go -2, then turn left, turn right, go straight, and you're going to reach your destination. And I said, pretty much far away distance. And he said, well, it's not if you need to get there. Okay, so less some pain. Anyway, many years in the back, when our daughter, Mariangela, was 7 or 8, one day I came home and she asked me, Daddy, are you tired? And I said, yes, but why do you ask? And she said, because Carousel came to town, so I'd like to take me there. And I said, just give me a time to rest and we can go. And she said, fine. And after some time, I told her, honey, I'm ready, we can go. And she said, but I don't want to go. And I said, why? Because you must be very tired. And I said, no, I'm not tired, but you can go. And she said, I'm not. And in that moment, I'm taking her sneakers and trying to put them on, and I'm telling her this. I promised, and I keep my promises, so we can go. And she said to me this, okay, if you so insist, then we can go. Okay, so great lesson about reversing. And the most important, I was so emotionally in the call that I forgot to control my behavior. Is it something very familiar to us in prospecting calls? Yes. Okay, so why people play the games? People play the games because of 3 reasons. The first one is we are scripted by our parents, life scripts. The second one, the way of survival, but most important, the most people play the games because it's a way of a living. So welcome to my presentation, why prospects play the games, actually people why play the games and what we can do about it. I am Dragan, I'm running this business. I've been running this business for more than 10 years and I'm covering 3 countries in South and Eastern Europe. So today I'm going to be your host in 30 minutes to cover this, I hope so, very important topic for all of us. Okay, so, but before we jump in much more in the psychology of the games, I would like to cover a very important question. And that question is pop up on the display, which means why we are seen as a threat. This is something very, very important because we are in the people business. We are not in the selling business. Am I correct? So let's pretend there is a calm, smooth sea. And suddenly appeared a warship. We are going to call it sales warship. Okay. When the captain of the warship sees a prospect on the surface, what does he command to his crew? Attack. What does he respond when he sees his attacking prospect? Run away. Why? Because this guy is seen as a threat. Actually, he's showing intent. Okay, intent, which means that he uses business pathology, predictable patterns of the behavior. So what does it mean? It means that prospect has been heard all these patterns for many, many times in the past. Okay, so how does prospect respond? There is a small primitive brain in the neocortex. We call it amygdala. Amygdala is responsible for surviving. When the brain is under attack, amygdala stops thinking and activate surviving. Why? Because brain doesn't have a time to think when he's under attack. Okay? How does brain respond? How does prospect respond? With auto-respond answers because he needs to be protected by our attack. Every single time when you hear, I'm not interested, I will already work with somebody, send me something, I'll call you back, it means that his brain is under attack. So our goal and our mission is stay under the radar of amygdala. Okay? Now it comes the best part. The origin of the word sale comes from old, ancient Greek word tergos, which means fraud. So be careful. You're not in the selling business, you're in the people business. How to avoid and stay under the radar, of amygdala. The root of all evil in professional selling comes in two parts. The first one is we are seen almost as a threat, and that's why people play the games. They have to be protected. And that's why I still use submarine. I'm not using flying wheel, I'm using submarine. Why? Because I can show my prospects and my students the power of Sandler. Why? When submarine is floating on the surface, it's vulnerable, and it's invisible, it's visible, but when submarine goes down and go deep and wait, actually, we are showing the real power of Sandler sales professionals. We have to wait, we have to run silent, run deep, and wait for the right moment. Okay? There is a couple of instances on this slide. Showing intent is our first scene. Showing intent is our first scene. All right. So, let's analyze typical sales behavior. What part of the sales process every salesperson on the planet enjoys the most? Doing unpaid consulting. He wants to show how he's smart. He wants to show smart and knowledge in order to be loved. Okay. When he do unpaid consulting, actually, he hopes he's going to be rewarded by that. But finally, you will always pay the price for unpaid consulting. You will find a painful truth at the end of the process. No money, no investment, no decision, no pain, no everything. Most of the people around the world circling in this behavioral model, and they rely on experience. Okay? So, next to this triangle is a Sandler triangle. So now you have a possibility to move on painful truth on the new triangle. Where are you going to put the truth on the new triangle? In what angle? On the top. In the Sandler, we teach our clients how to qualify on the top for pain, budget, decision. We are seeking for the truth, no matter how painful is that. When I qualify for pain, budget, decision, then I expect the money. What is the difference between expect and hope? It's a huge difference, okay? When I expect the money and I get the money, then I'm going to show the knowledge. This is the Sandler. And we call this triangle, something must be familiar to you, sell today, educate tomorrow. How would you call the left triangle? Educate today, sell maybe tomorrow. Okay, any questions? So far, so good? All right. So, how to respond to the games? The two types of the games. The first one, psychological games, and the second one, power plays. Have you ever been heard for this? Yeah. What is psychological games? Psychological games, which means that I know, and you know, and we both know that we are doing to each other some things we don't like to do each other, but anyway, we are still keep doing each other things we don't like. This is the games. So, in this process, in this communication, someone needs to take a courage and knowledge to break the pattern. In this case, it might be myself as a salesperson. What is the power plays? Power plays, which means they want from you to take off with your dignity. They want from you to see you on your knees. The script, I mean, the power of the power plays, source of power plays comes from the life script. I win, you lose. Get more, but give less. Okay. One of the most important power plays games is send me proposal. Are you agree with me? So, game question number 1, send me proposal. But before I show how to handle this situation, let me ask you something. Where does brain spend the least time? What do you think? In the present. Why? Because it's difficult. It takes energy, it takes responsibility, because brain does not like to think. Brains survive based on old scripted patterns of our behavior, scripted by our parents. Okay, I need a volunteer on the stage because of the time. Quick. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, come on. Yeah, Anthony. Okay, Anthony, so you're a prospect, I'm the sales guy. You're a prospect, okay? You're the sales guy. I'm the sales guy, you're a prospect. Okay, ask me for a proposal.
Can I have a proposal?
You're asking for a proposal? Ask me for a proposal.
Can I have a proposal?
So, when you ask me for a proposal, what kind of answers you're predictably expecting from me? I'm asking you right out of the role play.
Mm-hmm. Oh, out of the role?
Oh, yeah, out of the role play. What answers are you expecting from me? To send you a proposal or to hesitate?
Like
what?
What the game plan is, the steps in the proposal, what you're going to do, maybe the price.
So you have already set your brain to have some expectation from me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is a rule. Never let that your answers be compared with someone else's answers in the past, because you're going to cut and drown in the game. So let's do once more again.
Okay.
Asking for a proposal.
Can I have a proposal?
This is real case scenario. Okay.
Okay.
Listen to me.
Can I have a proposal?
Why? Stop. You see, he's thinking. Why he's thinking? Because he's confused. Why is he confused? Because his brain is stuck. Why his brain is stuck? Because he couldn't find the patterns to compare with other patterns in his past stored answers. Okay, so now when I ask the question why, I keep his brain in present. And the most of the time, brain in the prospect's brain in the present will crack under pressure, because I'm going to find the truth. Okay, always be seeker for the truth. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Okay. Probably the most important reverse question you will ever ask is the why. I used to have a prospecting call with a prospect, and he said to me, Dragan, can you a little bit lower your price? And I said, why? He was frozen. He was freezing in a moment. He didn't know what to say to me. I said, why? Okay, so let's analyze this scenario. What ego state started conversation when he asked me for a proposal? What do you think? It's a controlling parent who would try to trigger my adoptive child. He wants for me to be obedient, but I don't want to be obedient in the sales call. I want to be responsible. So that's why I use my adult ego states in order to keep his brain in the present. Do you have any questions for this? Okay? There is a strong rule. Another game question. You called. Okay, I need a volunteer on the stage. Come on. All right, buddy. All right. All right. So for the purpose of this role play, have you ever been in a situation that at the beginning of the sales call, you asked the prospect, what is the purpose of this call? And he said to me, I don't know, you called. Okay, it's a typical game question. So to resolve this game question, we need to understand a little bit better this situation, which means that never, ever trust their words. Always trust to someone's behavior, because behavior speaks loudly than words. Why? Because the moment he showed up in the meeting, it is the moment that he told you, I need something from you. But he doesn't want to tell you. Why? Because he played the games. He's insincere. Okay, so the purpose of this meeting, let's pretend we have a call, you and me, we have a call, and you have some interest in the Sandler training. Okay, so I'm gonna start conversation. You just tell me, I don't know, Dragan, you called. You understand your role?
You said, say that again?
I will say, hey, Robert, will you remind me, what is the purpose of our meeting? And you would say, I don't know, Dragan, you called.
I don't know, Dragan, you called.
Okay, so when you said that, do you have any expectation from my answers?
An expectation? I mean, I guess you're going to tell me.
No, out of the role, sorry, out of the role. Do you have any expectations? Do you have any expectations? Yes. Okay, when you said to me, okay, Dragan, I don't know, you called.
Yes.
Do you expect something to tell you in return?
Yeah, I expect you to tell me all about your products and tell me how you're going to change and how you're going to fix and sell me cell services, right?
Okay, actually, see, he already set expectations, regarding my answers. Okay, don't be predictable. So in this moment, try to understand what does he want, actually. So when he said, I don't know, you called, the more I give, the more he asks. The more I give, the more he asks. So never, ever making excuses and never, ever validate yourself. Okay, instead of this, pattern interrupt. Okay, so let's do once more again the same scenario. Okay, so, hey, Robert, why don't you remind me, what is the purpose of this call?
We're interested in sales training.
No. Just said you called.
Oh, you called?
Oh, really? Yes, Anthony, Robert, correctly reminded me that I called. And I called you for a reason. But I know from my experience that no one has the time to waste unless he has a good reason for that. So did I say something very specific on telephone that actually you will be motivated to have me on this meeting?
You said something about sales training, so it sounded a little interesting.
Oh, it sounds that something important to you.
It is, but I mean, typically it's like kind of expensive. So, I mean, how expensive are you? Are you guys expensive?
Well, pretty much expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, no, thank you so much. We can stop. You can go.
Oh.
Yeah. So, people always do something for the reason. You have to find out what is that reason. Always fight for the quantum of the truth, because there is always a quantum of a truth. What ego state started this communication with him? I don't know, you called. What do you think? It's controlling parent. But I needed to employ my adult ego states to keep his brain in the present. All right, what is the lessons learned? Always fight for the truth, always fight for the dignity, and pattern interrupt. All right? This is the first scene in the sales. Our first scene in the sales. The moment we show up on the meeting, it is the moment that you said, I'm desperate, I need your money. You remember? They will not trust your words, they will trust your behavior, to your body. The moment you show up to the meeting, that's the moment you told them, I need your money because that's why I'm here. Am I correct? All right. So, next game question. I need a volunteer on the stage. Come on. Fast. Time is running up. Fast. Faster. Come on, man. You're the saver. Okay. Come up. I'm not worship. Okay. So, you will just say to me, okay, Dragan, but we had a negative experience with supplier, with vendor, with consultant, whatever you pick up. Okay, this is your role play.
Dragan, we've had a lot of problems with our sales training in the past.
You mean you had a negative experience?
Yes.
Okay, so now, what do you expect from me to tell you out of the role play?
You're going to do a lot better.
Okay, see, he's expecting from me to ask actually to rescue him. Never rescue a prospect. Rescue me, no. Okay. Okay. So, instead of validate myself and making an excuses, and top of that, in the most case scenario, when someone has a complaint, state the complaint of something like we had a negative experience, he expecting from me something very predictable in the profession of selling. Do you know what is that? It's a question which showing false empathy. And those kind of questions are, tell me more about that. Oh, it must be a very unpleasant experience. He's expecting from me that. Don't do that, because I'm telling you, be a real thing, be real stuff in front of him. Be authentic person. So, let's do one some more again. Okay. Just give me the same statement.
Dragan, I've been waiting for your call. We've had some sales training in the past, and it just wasn't good.
So you want to tell me that you had a bad experience?
I want to tell you a lot of stuff.
So what? Let's do again. Because they didn't hear. Let's do again, sorry.
All right.
Just tell me we had a bad experience with sales training.
Dragan, you know we've had a really bad experience with our sales training so far. That's why we've been talking.
So what? He is confused. Out of the role play. Out of the role play. I made a contract prior to coming to Florida. 5 salespeople, 2 days boot camp, $60,000 US. Okay? Yeah? Real stuff. And owner of the company told me the same scenario. He told me, we had the negative experience with Richardson and McKinsey. And I told him, so what? And he said to me, what do you mean by so what? And I said, so what? Have you ever had negative experience with your wife? He said, of course. With your child? Of course. With your brother? Of course. With your sales manager? He said, yes. And I said, and? Did you stop your marriage with your wife? Did you stop being parents? No. So you still keep walking and still try to do something better?
We made up.
Okay. So what is the... Thank you. Thank you, Kylie. Yeah. So stop rescuing people. Kylie is a big guy. He's a big boy. He doesn't need rescuing from me. I need to help him to make a good decision. The way you treat people, the way you see people is the way you treat people. Right. So who started conversation with me? When he said I had negative experience with a previous consultant, who started conversation? What do you think? Who started conversation? Absolutely, child. It's a little professor. He's a savvy guy. He wants to be rescued. By who? by negative nurturing parent. By negative nurturing parent. Okay, I run this situation, and I know I don't want to rescue anyone. I need to help Kylie to become a better person with me and to make a good decision. I need to help him to make a good decision. In order to help him to make a good decision, I need to see and treat Kylie as an adult person. Okay, adult is a king. So, lessons learned. Never show false empathy. Treat people with dignity. Right. So what if you had a bad experience? It's a part of human behavior. It's a part of human living. So what? People always do it for a reason. Find it. And the king of all questions. The king of all games questions. What do you think? What is that? Can you guess it? It's not money. It's not money. From my perspective, opinion, it's not money. So, this is something very familiar to you. This is lead generation. Okay, not big deal. But there is the last one sentence at the bottom of this slide. You don't understand probably because it's on my local language. It's Serbian language. It's close to Russian language. If I translate on English, it has different meaning. So king of all game question is this. Why is this most important game question? Because this question is forcing us to what? To unpaid consulting. Okay. So, a few years ago, there was a guy, he called me and he told me, Dragan, I'm going to be in your town tomorrow, so I would like to have a meeting with you. And I said, no problem. And we sat at the table, and he told me this. I'm very interested in President's Club, but I need more information. The more will I give, the more he's going to be asked. I need to stop him. Okay. And I asked him this. Okay, Amir, how long have you been following me on social media? And he said to me, for approximately 6 months. And I said, why? Because you're talking a great stuff. And I said, well, does it make a difference for your business? Because I'm thinking if I would learn something from you, I would make more businesses and more money and more, new clients. And I said, okay, let's pretend in this moment I cannot tell you anything that you have already know about me because I got amnesia. Would you join my President's Club? After a couple of seconds, he said to me, I will. And I said, why? Because I trust you. So what is our next step? He said to me, send me an invoice. Okay? True story. True story. So lessons learned. What ego states started this conversation? I'm interested but need more information. What do you think? It's a game. And finally, he made agreement with me. Why? Because this is the answer. Good decisions are always made in advance. And there is a grand rule. You would be surprised how prospect knows more about than you think. And we are hooked on the question, tell me more, I need more information. Okay? Never rescue, help them to make a good decision. So, every sales call starts with the business pathology, predictable patterns of the behavior. and with the whole Trinity, which means weather, traffic, Trump. And after a couple of minutes, you're going to hit by break-even question. I'm interested. Tell me what you got. I need more information. It was the very, very moment when you choose which system will you follow, his system or my system. But you can have it both. You can have both systems. If you choose to follow your system, we are talking about dynamic self-awareness. If you start to choose his system, we are talking about dynamic self-non-awareness. So what does it mean? That? Definition. It is a moment when I recognize what is happening to me by my prospect, and I take responsibility for that. Because I have a knowledge, I have awareness, and I have a guts. So what is the dynamic self-non-awareness? It is the moment when I recognize, not recognize, what is happened to me, and I don't have a courage, I don't have a skill, I don't have a knowledge to take responsibility for further actions for it. Okay. And for the last one slide, not to be forgotten, so just wrap up. Origin of the word sales come from all ancient Greek word, which means fraud. We are interested but need more information. Okay, let's pretend I have amnesia. Send me a proposal. Why? Okay, you called. That's right. And I had a bad experience. So what? If you have any questions, meet me after the presentation. Thanks so much.